Chapter 6, The Promotion That Changed Everything. The announcement shook Sinclair Corporation. Every employee received the email at exactly 9 a.m. Board of Directors announces new CEO of Sinclair Corporation. By noon, the news had spread throughout the business world. By evening, every major financial publication carried the story. The Sinclair heir had officially taken the throne. Ethan Sinclair was now Chief Executive Officer of Sinclair Corporation. At 33 years old, he had achieved what many considered impossible. The youngest CEO in the company's history. Investors celebrated. The board applauded. The Sinclair family hosted a lavish dinner in his honor. Everyone called it Ethan's greatest achievement. Nobody knew it was also the beginning of his greatest mistake. The Sinclair estate had never looked more magnificent. Crystal chandeliers illuminated the grand ballroom. Champagne flowed freely. Executives, politicians, and influential business leaders filled the room. The atmosphere was electric. Tonight was about Ethan. His success. His future. His legacy. As guests congratulated him, Ethan remained polite and humble. But his eyes kept searching the room. Looking for one person. Eventually, he found her. Amelia stood near one of the large windows, speaking with a group of investors. Elegant? Confident? Beautiful. His wife. The woman who had stood beside him through every challenge. The woman who deserved to be standing beside him right now. Not in the background. Beside him. Ethan? A board member approached. Congratulations. Thank you. Your father must be proud. Ethan forced a smile. His father was proud. Probably more proud than he'd ever been. Yet somehow Ethan felt uneasy. Because every compliment felt incomplete. Every celebration felt incomplete. Every success felt incomplete. Without Amelia's name attached to it. Later that evening, Richard Sinclair raised a glass. The room immediately fell silent. Everyone turned toward him. Richard rarely gave emotional speeches. My son. The room applauded. Richard nodded toward Ethan. When I first brought Ethan into the company, many doubted him. A few guests chuckled. Some believed he wasn't ready. More laughter. But over the years, he proved everyone wrong. Richard's voice filled the room. He transformed this company. Applause erupted. He led us through difficult times. More applause. He created opportunities where others saw obstacles. And today, Sinclair Corporation stands stronger than ever because of him. Thunderous applause filled the ballroom. Amelia joined in. Smiling. Clapping? Supporting him as she always had. Yet something inside her felt strangely hollow. Because every achievement Richard listed. Every milestone. Every breakthrough. She remembered the late nights behind them. The reports. The strategies. The countless hours. Not just Ethan's. Theirs. But only one name was being celebrated. One name was being remembered. One name was becoming history. As the applause faded, Victoria Sinclair stepped forward. Unlike her husband, she smiled warmly. At least toward Ethan. My son has always been destined for greatness. The guests nodded approvingly. Victoria's eyes glistened with pride. Since childhood, Ethan has possessed remarkable talent. Amelia lowered her gaze. Not because Victoria's words were wrong. But because they were incomplete. Very incomplete. Ethan built this success through determination and vision. Another round of applause. Then Victoria added something that made Amelia freeze. Our family has always believed in earning success. The statement sounded harmless. Until Victoria looked directly at Amelia. Just briefly. Only a second. But Amelia understood. The implication was clear. Some people earn success. Others married into it. The sting was immediate. Small. But undeniable. On the drive home, silence filled the car. Ethan noticed it immediately. Amelia was staring out the window. Lost in thought. You okay, eh? She turned toward him. And smiled. The same smile she always used when something bothered her but she didn't want to discuss it. I'm fine. Ethan wasn't convinced. You didn't enjoy the party. I did. Amelia. She sighed. Then looked back toward the city lights. It's your night. That doesn't answer my question. For a long moment, she remained silent. Finally, she spoke. Do you ever get tired? Tired? Of carrying everything? Ethan laughed softly. Every day. She smiled. But her next words surprised him. You don't have to carry everything alone. The statement seemed simple. Yet something about it lingered. Because lately, Ethan had been carrying more responsibility than ever. The company was larger. The stakes were higher. The pressure was immense. And becoming CEO only amplified everything. More meetings. More travel. More expectations. More demands. Less time. Much less time. I know, he said quietly. Amelia nodded. But she wasn't sure he truly understood. The following week, Ethan officially moved into the CEO office. The room occupied the entire top floor of Sinclair Tower. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Expensive artwork decorated the walls. Everything about the office screamed power. His first few days were overwhelming. Problems arrived non-stop. Executives demanded decisions. Investors requested meetings. Departments competed for resources. Everyone wanted something. By Wednesday, Ethan was surviving on coffee and determination. By Friday, he was barely sleeping. And by the second week, he began bringing work home. Lots of work. Far too much work. One evening, Amelia entered his home office carrying dinner. The food had grown cold. Again. Ethan? No response. Ethan? Still nothing. His eyes remained fixed on the screen. Reviewing reports. Answering emails. Solving problems. Completely consumed. Finally, Amelia placed the plate directly in front of him. That got his attention. Oh. He blinked. Dinner. You forgot. He looked guilty. Sorry? It's okay. But it wasn't. Not entirely. Both knew it. Neither wanted to say it. Over the next several months, Ethan changed. Not dramatically. Not all at once. Small changes. Subtle changes. The kind people rarely notice until it's too late. His phone became an extension of his hand. Meals were interrupted by business calls. Vacations became working trips. Date nights became cancellations. Even conversations felt shorter. More distracted. More rushed. Amelia tried to be understanding. She truly did. After all, she knew better than anyone how much pressure he faced. She had helped build the company, she understood the responsibility. But understanding something didn't make it hurt less. One evening, Ethan returned home after another 14-hour workday. The penthouse was unusually quiet. He found Amelia sitting in the living room. Reading? Or at least pretending to. Ooh. Her book hadn't moved in 20 minutes. You waited up? She looked up. I wanted to see you. The answer hit harder than she intended. Because Ethan realized something. His wife had reached a point where simply seeing him had become an event. Not a routine. Not an expectation. An event. And that realization frightened him. For the first time, he wondered whether becoming CEO was costing more than he realized. The following morning, Ethan arrived at the office early. His executive assistant greeted him immediately. Good morning, Mr. Sinclair. Ethan nodded. Morning. Your schedule has been updated. She handed him a tablet. Ethan reviewed the day's meetings. Investor presentations. Board discussions. International partnerships. The list seemed endless. Then he noticed something unusual. His assistant had reorganized several meetings more efficiently than his previous staff ever had. A small detail. But impressive. Who suggested this schedule structure? The assistant smiled. I did. Ethan nodded. Good work. It was a brief interaction. One he barely remembered by lunchtime. Yet it marked the beginning of something important. Because while Ethan's world continued expanding, new people were entering it. People who would influence his future. people who would eventually change everything. And among them was a young, ambitious employee quietly earning his trust. Someone whose arrival seemed insignificant. For now. That night, Amelia stood alone on the balcony overlooking the city. The wind moved gently through her hair. Inside, Ethan worked late once again. Inside, the company she helped build continued demanding more of him. And for the first time in years, Amelia felt an unfamiliar emotion. Not anger. Not jealousy. Not resentment. Fear. Because she could feel the distance growing between them. Small at first. Almost invisible. But growing nonetheless. And while neither of them realized it yet, the promotion that fulfilled Ethan's greatest dream had also opened the door to the greatest threat their marriage would ever face.